He's the one she never leaves. But why does he get hurt the most? Most people assume a woman hurts a man because she doesn't care. It's almost always the opposite. She hurts him because he's safe, because he's the one who stays, the one who forgives, the one who absorbs every emotional storm without ever walking out the door. Safety isn't always protected. Sometimes it's tested. And that single sentence explains more heartbreak than almost anything else in modern relationships. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why the most loyal men often get treated the worst, and more importantly, what to actually do about it. Because the ending of this pattern is not what you think. Section 1. Why safety becomes a target. A man who truly loves gives 3 things most people underestimate: patience, stability, consistency. He doesn't threaten to leave when things get hard. He doesn't punish silence with silence. He shows up again and again, no matter what version of her walks through the door that day. And here's the part almost nobody talks about: that consistency. That safety isn't always received as a gift. When someone hasn't healed her own wounds, safety stops feeling like peace. It starts feeling unfamiliar, even suspicious. Because if pain and chaos were the language love spoke to her growing up, then calm doesn't register as love. It registers as waiting for the other shoe to drop. So, what does an unhealed mind do with something it doesn't trust? It tests it, not because she's cruel, not because she doesn't love him, but because part of her needs proof that this safety is real. And the only way she knows how to look for proof is to push until something breaks. Section 2. The anatomy of the test. Unhealed pain looks for proof, and that search shows up in patterns that are easy to miss from the inside, but painfully obvious from the outside. She pushes boundaries just to see if this time he'll finally push back. She withholds affection not because she feels nothing, but to see if his warmth survives the cold. She criticizes instead of appreciates because appreciation requires vulnerability, and vulnerability was never safe before. She lashes out, knowing he won't leave easily, and here's the part that matters most: not because she wants to lose him, because chaos feels familiar in a way peace never has. Think about that for a second. She's not testing whether he loves her. She's testing whether love this consistent can actually be trusted. And every time he absorbs it without saying a word, she gets an answer, but it's rarely the answer either of them actually wanted. Because there's a hidden cost to every one of these tests, and it isn't paid by her. Section 3. The mistake. Loyalty mistaken for unlimited tolerance. Here is the tragedy at the center of this entire pattern. The man who loves the hardest often gets treated the worst because his loyalty gets mistaken for unlimited tolerance. His patience isn't infinite. It just doesn't look finite from the outside. Because he doesn't announce when it's running low. He doesn't explode. He doesn't scream. He doesn't give the dramatic exit scene that would signal this hurts. He just slowly closes his heart, one overlooked apology at a time, one absorbed criticism at a time, one night of silence he decided wasn't worth explaining. It doesn't happen in a single moment, which is exactly why almost no one sees it coming, including him. And here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. By the time it's visible from the outside, it's usually already finished on the inside. The warmth doesn't come back with an apology. It doesn't come back with tears. Because what closed wasn't a mood, it was a decision, made quietly over months. So, the real question isn't why she tests him. It's this: is there anything that actually stops this pattern before it reaches that point? Section 4. What actually breaks the pattern? This pattern doesn't end with more patience. That's the counterintuitive part. More tolerance doesn't prove love, it just extends the test. What actually breaks the cycle is boundaries communicated before silence takes over. Not ultimatums, not threats. Simple, calm clarity. This is what I can absorb, and this is what I can't, and I need you to know the difference matters to me. Because a boundary isn't the opposite of love. It's what makes love sustainable. Without it, Safety isn't really safety, it's just a man quietly disappearing in slow motion, mistaken for someone who never gets hurt. And on her side, real healing doesn't come from someone proving over and over that they won't leave. It comes from learning to trust peace on its own terms, without needing to test it first. That work isn't his to do for her. It was never his job to keep absorbing proof she needed to find inside herself. The saddest part of this pattern isn't the fighting, it's the quiet. It's the moment a man stops explaining how he feels, not because he's fine, but because he's finished. And by the time anyone notices, there's rarely anything left to say. Loyalty was never meant to mean unlimited tolerance. And the men who protect their peace aren't the ones who loved less. They're the ones who finally understood that love without boundaries doesn't stay love for very long. Have you lived this pattern on either side? If this gave you language for something you felt but never quite explained, subscribe to Working Truth. Drop a comment. Have you seen this pattern play out in your own relationship or in someone close to you? I read everyone, and this is exactly where this channel comes alive.